It's interesting to think about the relationship between art and war zones, particularly in the context of the Albright Institute, where young students are thinking about how they might have leadership roles in the political arena in the future, possibly. And art, I think, is a reflection of what some public intellectuals think about in times of conflict, but it can also communicate very important messages and information about conflict to people on a more broad cultural level. Today I started with two really iconic war images. One was Goya's 3rd of May, and the other was Picasso's Guernica. And we learned a little bit about how those works of art came about, what the artist's relationship was to conflict in their age. And then we took it to another level and we looked at how some Syrian, Iraqi, Iranian, and Chinese artists in our generation have drawn on those iconic images to make art about conflicts that happen in their world, like Tiananmen Square, like the Sabra and Shatila Palestinian refugee massacres, like Fallujah in Iraq. And we talked about how when you have those iconographic works of art and you relate them to conflicts that are happening in your world today, it can send certain signals to people that make you stop and think about, what does war mean? What's our own complicity in war? How can we take action to prevent certain kinds of war? So we really talked about how art can serve a moral imperative during times of conflict. It can convey information during times of conflict, and it can be a call for action during times of conflict. I think the students were a little bit surprised by how politically relevant art is. Sometimes we tend to think about art as being more to do with the realm of soft power. And I think that what they came to realize is that art can actually have a very important communicative power, a very important diplomatic role to play. And the students, I was really struck by how smart they were in terms of thinking about the political economy of art, the history of art. They really understood this issue of art in conflict zones in a very interdisciplinary and very sophisticated way today. I was very pleased with them. We talked about that today, about the question of infrastructure, and I wanted them to really think about knowledge infrastructure, which is really relevant to all the other kinds of infrastructure that they're going to be focusing on, you know, transportation and climate and economic infrastructures and cultural infrastructures, which is how do certain kinds of infrastructures allow us to know about certain things and to convey information about certain things. And that's often the point at which you have the power to intercede and make changes. And part of my talk today was to really get them to realize that they have the power to change the knowledge infrastructures of a variety of zones that are relevant to political life.